If Kamala Harris wins the presidential election, Elon Musk is absolutely, unequivocally, completely screwed. Although, that's probably also true of the United States and the entire world, so there's that. And this is not hyperbole, I'm not joking, I'm not being dramatic, I'm serious. And unless you are completely deranged, an NPC who believes what you're told by the fake news, the hate stream media, whatever they want to program into your tiny little brain you just believe, you'll understand what I'm getting at here. Just a few days away, folks, the US presidential election, loads of early voting already taking place. Elon Musk absolutely all in on Donald Trump, understandably. And let me be clear, no hyperbole, I do often speak in hyperbole. This is not one of those cases. The best possible thing that could happen for Tesla is a Trump presidency. The worst possible thing that could happen, not for Tesla, although maybe indirectly, but for Elon Musk himself, is Kamala Harris presidency. In that situation, we just have to be honest. Elon is fucked. And I don't mean like slightly gently. No, I mean completely and utterly fucked. And he knows it. And I want to be clear, I'm not trying to be dramatic here. Check this out from about a week ago. Josh Shapiro threatens to have Elon Musk arrested for handing out money to town hall attendees who sign his America petition. Which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with incentivizing people to sign a petition.
Governor, let me ask you about a development we learned about overnight. Elon Musk says he will be giving away $1 million every day to random voters who sign his super PAC's petition. You are a former attorney general. Is this legal?
I think there are real questions with how he is spending money in this race, how the dark money is flowing, not just into Pennsylvania, but apparently now into the pockets of Pennsylvanians. That is deeply concerning. Look, Musk obviously has...
There's nothing concerning, and there are no questions here. This is not illegal. It's a gigantic fucking hoax. They're just trying to attack Musk's character, threaten him, scare him into submission. Spoiler alert, it won't work. The guy has balls. He doesn't care. He's got courage. He's not a coward, unlike most. But wait, there's more. Check this out. A headline posted by Doge designer from the fake news. Could Elon Musk be deported for immigration violation? Okay, at this point, the hate stream media are so desperate to interfere in the US presidential election, do whatever it takes to prevent Trump becoming the next president. And Musk, his biggest and most vocal supporter, most high-profile supporter, is copping arrows from every direction. The media has absolutely lost the plot. Musk reposting this, quote, "A lot of people still don't believe me when I say the Democrats will do everything in their power to destroy me if they win on November 5th. He's not joking. We'll get back to the All In podcast in just a moment. Speaking of the All In podcast, here's David Sachs, my favourite of the four besties, who posted this today. Don't worry, I'll add some context if you're a bit confused. Only a very low IQ person would fall for the Cheney hoax. Criticising warmongers is the opposite of, quote, encouraging violence. It actually seeks to prevent unnecessary wars. If you fell for this hoax, you should be embarrassed and stop tweeting/posting. Now, if anyone's a little bit confused as to what Mr. Sachs is referring to, allow me to find a post from a very low IQ person who happened to fall for this. It won't be difficult to find one, and I'll explain from there. So here's the post. I've obscured the name to protect the brain dead. We're sort of starting at the end and working our way back. This was a real post, by the way, a number of hours ago. Somebody with a very small brain, clearly a gigantic sausage wallet, emotionally disturbed with severe TDS, who fell for this hoax and wrote, "How can anyone seriously consider voting for a person who wants to shoot political opponents? Trump wants to shoot Liz Cheney, and that should disqualify him as a candidate for anyone who wants democracy in the United States. Only autocrats and dictators have such criminal fantasies. Democracy is at stake." This was in response to fake news, an egregious example of distorting reality and painting a false narrative about Trump because the media are so desperate to prevent him becoming the next president. And the reason I'm bringing this up, these exact same tactics can, are, and will continue to be used on Elon Musk as well. So exactly what occurred? Let's read 3 fake news headlines. Trump suggests Liz Cheney should face a firing squad for her foreign policy stance. Trump says warhawk Liz Cheney should be fired upon in escalation of violent rhetoric. Trump suggests warhawk Liz Cheney should have guns trained on her face. So before we actually hear what Trump really said, if you're somebody who sees something like this and believes it at face value, you are actually too stupid to be posting or sharing your opinions about literally anything and to figure out how easily you are manipulated and why. Remember, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. What the fake news is reporting here falsely, by the way, is that Trump literally suggested that a political opponent should be shot based on her political beliefs. Anyone with half a fucking brain cell thinks, hang on, that's pretty extreme. Let's just see what actually occurred here. Surely he wouldn't be that crazy, right? And funnily enough, he's not. Here's the full clip, what actually happened, not the fake news. And again, the reason I'm bringing this up is because this is and will continue to happen to Elon Musk as well. Things that he says, suggests, implies will be taken so far out of context, it defies belief. Whether Trump becomes the next president or not, Musk is public enemy number 2. And if Trump fails to get elected, he's out of the race. Elon's going to become public enemy number 1.
Cheney was he said, I really want to thank you. He said, now I'm so glad that I actually endorsed you. It's amazing, but that you would do this. And I didn't speak to him about it. But then, go a couple of years forward or go now. And I don't blame him for sticking with his daughter. But his daughter is a very dumb individual, very dumb. She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. When the guns are trained on her face. They're all war hawks when they're sitting in Washington in a nice building saying, oh, gee, let's send 10,000 troops right into the mouth of the enemy. But she's a stupid person. And I'd have meetings with a lot of people, and she always wanted to go to war with people.
So again, anyone with even half a brain cell understands the context here. Trump is anti-war. He's pointing out that Liz Cheney is a war hawk. She loves war, except only from the safety of her office in Washington. If she's actually out there on the front lines, fighting in a war and her life's on the line, suddenly she would not be so pro-war. This is obviously the context of the comments. And you actually have to be super dumb to interpret this any other way. And to be fooled by the fake news, even more embarrassing. David Sachs truly did nail it. Only a very low IQ person would fall for this hoax. Criticising warmongers is the opposite of encouraging violence. It seeks to prevent unnecessary wars. And if you fell for this hoax, you should be embarrassed and stop posting on X, which is absolutely true. So again, the reason I bring this up, these same tactics are and will continue to be used against Elon Musk, who continues to make more enemies. Imagine how many people working in the US government are currently shitting bricks, realizing that they're dead weight. They're a net drag on productivity. They don't need to be employed by the government, and who are fully aware that Musk intends on heading up the Department of Government Efficiency under a Trump administration and cleaning house.
And supposedly needing a big rate cut to get the economy moving again. But I think at the end of the day, everyone's looking to the election as kind of the next big moment in the economy. Both Trump and Kamala have made fiscal proposals that would be deeply expensive if you assume these budgeting groups that go out and take their policy proposals and try and build a model against them, that they're both going to add trillions of dollars to the debt, they're going to increase deficit spending, et cetera. But the reality is that neither of them are actually going to end up theoretically being able to execute all of those policies, and there will likely be some degree of difference to where we end up on spending.
Chamath, a lot of talk about DOGE, the Department of Government, what is the last word? Efficiency. That Elon might be collaborating on. What do you think the chances are? He said there could be $2 trillion in savings that could occur. What are the chances that any meaningful cuts happen and we reverse the trend?
Let me just translate this question from Jason. What are the chances that Elon Musk will be able to do what he intends on doing? In other words, what are the chances that betting against Elon Musk in this case would be unwise?
If Trump, say, he wins and he creates that position.
I think the first question that'll inform how dramatic the cuts are is whether we organize ourselves around an accurate sense of where the actual economy is. If you look at the print today, it would actually tell you that things are pretty okay and that we are not sort of near an unsustainable turning point. However, and Nick, if you want to just throw up this chart, if you back out the percentage of government consumption that is included in GDP, you start to see a very different picture, which is that over the last 2.5 years, all of the economic gains under the Biden administration have largely been through government consumption. What that means is that private industry has been standing on the sidelines somewhat. And that actually maps to a lot of this intuition that I've had over the last few months when I've said, I think we're in a low-key recession, because what I could never figure out is why I would look at the earnings transcripts of a bunch of companies who would constantly talk about softening demand. And by the way, this is across the board. It wasn't just CPG companies, but Dropbox, as an example. Same sort of thing. They just laid off 20% of their staff, and the memo was about weakening demand. So this is a broad-based softening as far as companies experience the economy, but the high-level number is positive, which would make you think that everything is fine. But when you look at that chart and you back out the percentage of the positive news that the government is responsible for, what it means is the economy is flat and the economy isn't growing, which means that roughly there are a bunch of folks that are seeing contraction. So I think that if you normalize on that view of the world, I think the cuts that Elon will affect will be meaningful and necessary.
If you
At the risk of repeating myself, I'm going to do exactly that. Musk is very serious about trimming the fat, of which there is much in the US government. So let's just quickly recap here. The political left, which owns the mainstream media, Hollywood, academia, social media, other than X, Hollywood popular culture, the music industry, all being told over and over, Elon bad because Orange Man bad, therefore Elon bad because Elon bad support Orange Man bad, double bad. The fake news willing to go to absurd lengths to outright lie. Musk being threatened constantly by politicians, people in the media, with imprisonment, jail, fines, asset confiscation. The attacks are only going to get worse from here, regardless of the outcome of the presidential election. You've been warned. Now, I know a lot of people watching this channel, or actually, they've probably unsubscribed and rage quit by now, can't wait until the US election is over so I can get back to talking predominantly about Tesla. But as I mentioned, what's happening to Musk right now, he's all in support of Trump. And the only reason, by the way, not because he wanted to get involved, but because he felt it necessary. He saw an imminent train wreck and wants to help. And he's right, by the way. Musk wading into these waters will directly affect Tesla. Under a Trump presidency, Elon, Tesla won't get unfair, unreasonable, biased, or favorable treatment. Instead, fair, neutral, reasonable. But Musk truly is not joking when he says a lot of people still don't believe me when I say that the Democrats will do everything in their power to destroy me if they win on November 5th. He ain't wrong. I'm going to wrap up today's video with this truly incredible interaction. Just let me set the scene. There'll be no commentary after this video. It speaks for itself. We're looking at a segment from the Washington Post, owned by Jeff Bezos, recently for the first time in a very long time, if ever, choosing not to endorse a political candidate. Many people rage quitting as a result. How dare you not endorse Kamala? Weird. An extremely left-leaning, e.g. pro-Kamala, anti-Trump publication. And they don't try to hide it. The level of dishonesty and deception that the media and politicians will level at an opponent. In this particular case, again, I'm emphasizing this is going to and continues to happen to Elon Musk, is truly astonishing. Watch what happens here. Hugh, in the top right corner here, a Washington Post contributor, is so outraged by the deception occurring that he can't contain himself. Now remember, all three of these people either work for or are contributors to the Washington Post. They're, quote, on the same team. So to finish setting the scene, this guy and this woman are going to have a 404 error, mental breakdown, and possibly even maybe unplug their camera because they don't know how to proceed after getting called out for extreme bias and a false narrative leveled at a political opponent. And remember, these same tactics are already being used against Elon Musk. They're only going to get worse under a Kamala presidency. This is an incredible interaction.
Or does it seem like this week Donald Trump is laying the groundwork for contesting the election by complaining that cheating was taking place in Pennsylvania by suing Bucks County for alleged irregularities? And this is on top of his continual assertion that if he loses, it's because of cheating.
Yeah, he's been laying the groundwork for this, just not in the last week, but in the last umpty-ump months. No election can be fair in Donald Trump's mind, unless Donald Trump wins it. And I think we are going to see him both rev up his supporters to contest elections outside of courtrooms and go to every courtroom he can in America where it's relevant to make whatever arguments he can, no matter how far-fetched. We saw
Jonathan,
that
I've got
out last time, but it didn't work out this time.
Hugh.
It may not work. That may not happen this time. And now I'll let you go, Hugh.
Well, I've just got to say, we're news people, even though we're at the opinion section. It's got to be reported. Bucks County was reversed by the court and instructed to open up extra days because they violated the law and told people to go home. So that lawsuit was brought by the Republican National Committee, and it was successful. The Supreme Court ruled that Glenn Youngkin was successful. We are news people, even though we have opinions, and we have to report the whole story if we bring up part of the story. So yes, he's upset about Bucks County, but he was right, and he won in court. That's the story.
I'll let you keep going, Jonathan.
No, I don't appreciate being lectured about reporting when many times you come here saying lots of things that aren't.
I won't come back, Jonathan. I'm done.
But
I'm done. This is the most unfair election ad I have ever been a part of. You guys are working. That's fine. I'm done.
So, Ruth, you wrote a column this week ending with this line, and actually, I think this is perfect. We're going to put it on the screen. You wrote, "You want to know the stakes of this election? Not only democracy, but decency." Talk more about that, Ruth.
Okay, I'm collecting myself.
Oh, Ruth froze. Ruth is frozen. So hang in there, everyone. We're going to see if we can try to get Ruth back to this We're going to get Ruth back in a moment. This is First Look, Washington Post Live's nonstop shop for news and analysis, and Ruth is back. So I'm going to read that quote back again from your column, Ruth, where you wrote, "You want to know the stakes of this election? Not only democracy, but decency." We lost her again. Everybody, if you've been watching First Look, you know that these conversations can be interesting, contentious. You just saw Hugh Hewitt leave the conversation, which is lamentable, unfortunate. It is what it is. I am Jonathan Caper. I want to thank you all very much for joining us on First Look.
Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. This is what viewers of the channel had to say after trying AG1. I feel like I have a lot more energy since I started on AG1. Just got my AG1 in the mail. Legit feeling the effects after day 3. 3 months ago, I started AG1 and have been enjoying the evenness of alertness and energy that lasts the day. I just started the wife on it too. Are you convinced yet? I mean, hey, it's worth trying, right? Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, or I can keep going. This viewer, after about a month on AG1, definitely a lack of fatigue in the afternoon. Pleasant side effect is that my coffee intake has imploded and is almost down to 0. One more? Yeah, why not? I honestly feel younger and will be continuing to use AG1. This stuff really is crazy good. I didn't think it would be, but this stuff is awesome. It really is what everyone is saying. One more? Don't mind if I do. I've just received my 3rd month supply. I've drank it every day. I have so much energy throughout most of the day. I'm productive, started a new business, started socializing, refurbished a boat. It's no coincidence. Thank you for your persistence, your integrity, and your insights. And look, these are not my words. These are not my testimonials. This is what you guys and girls are saying. Maybe it's 100% placebo effect. But even if that's the case, I think it's money well spent. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs.